Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Beyond the Gates, Season 2, Episodes 7 through 11, this week's episodes. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video, you can share it, subscribe, and leave your comments. Let's get into these week's episodes. Okay. All right, y'all. This is the beginning of the new week at the country club. Ted and Andre discuss Danny and Nicole's medical drama. They spot Carlton at the bar, and Andre offers advice to Ted about Carlton, which is to extend an olive branch. While it burns him to see Nicole and Carlton together, Ted is comforted to know Nicole is moving forward with someone who will cherish her the way Andre cherishes Danny. The sisters both deserve that kind of love after what he and Bill put them through. Before he leaves, Carlton assures Ted he'll be there when he needs someone to remind him he's more than his mistakes. Bill comes running. As Nicole consoles Danny in the latter's bedroom, she admits she's relieved her kids are at an increased risk of developing cancer. I think that should be known. Okay, you have the BRCA gene. Just because you don't have the BRCA gene does not mean that you could not be susceptible to cancer. I think that we got to knock that out of the park. It's just a higher risk of you getting it if you have this gene than if you don't have it. Nicole feels like she's the selfish sister, but Danny won't let her carry guilt over it. She wants to be strong for everyone, but it's Nicole's turn to put her foot down. She embraces her little sister who sobs in her arms. Tomas goes over Lynette's embezzlement case in Bill's office. Lynette is the old friend of Val, aka Haley, but his boss is too distracted with worry over Danny and his daughters. When Tomas instructs Haley to research any shady behavior, she assumes he means look at Lynette's credibility. Tomas corrects her. No, look into Lynette's bosses. You know, the one accusing their client of embezzlement? Caroline offers to tap into the assistant's network to find out where all the bodies are buried, which seems to make Haley nervous. Bill rushes out after getting a distress call from Chelsea, and Tomas gets a text from Kat relaying that she is in the clear regarding the BRCA gene. Haley realizes that Danny's side of the family isn't so lucky and bemoans Danny coming first with Bill again. That is one selfish heifer. Tomas assures her Bill's just being there for his girls, and Haley sweetly grins, fake, in agreement, but alone she rants about Bill playing hero to Danny yet again. When I'm done with you, she'll be the one crying over your casket. While Danny takes a bath, Nicole goes downstairs to console Chelsea and reminds her that having the gene isn't a diagnosis. Correct. This nudges her into working on sketches with Kat to present to a stylist, and after the girls leave, Bill races in. Where's Danny? Nicole tries to put him off, but Bill goes upstairs and wraps his arms around his ex-wife. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Even though I got a wife at home that's trying to kill me. As Nicole fills in returning Andre downstairs, Danny pulls away from Bill upstairs. She reminds him that this isn't his role in her life anymore. Why does it feel so natural then, he wonders. Because you wrecked and you blew up your own spot. It's natural to you because you weren't the one hurt in the process. And you moved on before she even moved on. He promises she'll be fine because he won't stand for anything to the contrary. She quips that even the great and powerful Bill Hammond is a match for this. And then Bill says, don't bet on it, beautiful. He says and pulls her back into his arms just as Andre walks in. He escorts a posturing Bill downstairs where he assures Danny's ex they will have a problem if he catches him consoling his wife again. Boom. At the hospital, a frustrated Naomi unloads on Ashley about all the hoops she has to jump through to schedule her and Chelsea's blood test. Chelsea calls Grayson in the lab to fast track it and agrees to a coffee date in the process. Meaning, basically, Ashley had to give a little shoulder and take it right back in order to get these test results brushed. Grayson is a new character on, we'll, I think, meet him tomorrow or later on in the form of Jordi Velasco, I think is his last name. But he started in soap operas on Guiding Light. And I've known him since then as far as playing different characters on soap operas. And we'll get into that. Naomi quips she's prostituting her dating life for them, and Ashley counters that it isn't a huge sacrifice because Grayson is really hot. He is. Plus, he's been sliding in her DMs ever since she changed her relationship status to available. Back at the office, Tomas overhears Haley talking on the phone to Randy. I used my whole bag of tricks, she vents. Maybe it's time to kick things up a notch. About time somebody's finally catching on. Now, will Tomas be a casualty as far as him being a goner? Because of now Haley may catch on that Tomas knows too much? Who knows? But it's time for some type of danger to lurk around. We haven't seen anything really since Allison took Chelsea for a kidnapping in just 1 week. You know, it would usually take a month or two if we were on a different soap, you know, for anyone to be found. But for that whole week, Chelsea was kidnapped in our time. All right, this is the next day. Only after Anita's treatment, she gets the news that while Nicole's tested negative for the cancer gene, Danny was not so fortunate. At the same time, many around Faircrest are holding their breath to find out the results of the test on Chelsea and Naomi. Carlton is there to help Nicole while Nicole processes Danny's situation, while Ashley looks forward to her first date with Grayson, the lab tech who handled the results. Yeah, Jordi Vilasuso, that's his name. Yeah, but he's been on Guiding Light, Days of Our Lives, All My Children, Young and the Restless, and now this soap. Hopefully he gets to stay around a little bit more. I think on Guiding Light was his longest stint. He played, not Danny, he played the brother or cousin to Danny. I forgot which one it was on Guiding Light. But yeah, I've enjoyed his work. He's done some primetime work here and there. As for Danny, she spends the evening with Andre. I may have lost the genetic lottery, but the loved one, baby, I ran the tables. Anita can't be stopped. Although Vernon does everything in his power to keep Anita calm, she refuses to stay at the mansion when her family is in need. Her timing is kind of awful, however, as she shows up on Danny's doorstep just as Andre is about to give his wife some sexual healing. I brought this child into the world. You think I haven't seen her naked behind? Anita, before heading into the bedroom, while Vernon advises his son-in-law to always be Danny's soft space to land, so that no one else will be. Feels like foreshadowing. Like, Andre, you gotta be on your P's and Q's. Anita apologizes to Danny for passing the gene on to her, which Danny brushes off as foolish. They didn't even know that this gene existed when Nicole and I were born. At the hospital, I hate how Anita's gotta be during this process. Life happens, Anita. Like, snap out of it. I know you don't want your children to go through all of this, but Lord, life still happens. At the hospital, Chelsea pulls Madison aside and says that she wants to live life large, despite what might be a ticking time bomb inside of her. And Madison's looking like, oh, really? Nicole gets increasingly tipsy as she tells Carlton that she's supposed to be the family fixer. He urges her to be real with him, and she admits to being terrified times a million. As she spirals, Carlton keeps her from getting too tipsy instead of suggesting that they go back to her place. And she wonders if he's embarrassed by her. But he simply doesn't want to share her with everyone at Uptown. Once at Nicole's place, he tries to keep her from getting out of control, which leads to her spiraling and suggesting he leave so that she can get to let her hair down. But being the rock that she needs, he says he'd never dream of letting her drink alone. They begin dancing and kissing, but she eventually falls asleep on the couch, and he proves a gentleman by covering her and cuddling on the couch. Well, I'm still on the outs on this whole Nicole and Carlton type thing, but hey, finally Nicole can let her hair down after all this time. The bob is out of place a little bit. Naomi tells Ashley a coffee date with Grayson is a bad idea. Coffee breath alone. Instead, she convinces Ash to go on a double date at Uptown. Grayson is more than happy with the change of venue, where he and Ashley get to know one another better. Watching from a nearby table, Jacob can tell that Naomi approves. Remember, Ashley has to like the new puppy before we can adopt him, Jacob says. She very nearly initiates a first kiss, but realizes that they are being watched. Instead, she invites Grayson back to her place. Oh, not neurotic, always got to be in control, and oh. Now she's ready to have company at the house on the first date. Of course, they're a little bit familiar with one another as far as the flirting and all that, but hey, okay. All right, so we're on to the next day. In the morning at the country club, Pamela interrupts Danny's daymare, making nightmare, about Haley taunting her over the Brocagine. What Haley is actually doing is dosing Bill's tea at work. He quips that he won't drink any more of her poison. Does Bill know what's going on? But of course, she sweet talks him into it. You were so close, Bill, but hey. She also plays the concerned stepmother when they discuss his family ordeal, leading Bill to encourage her to reach out to Naomi and all of them. Which she does with the text to Naomi about how much she liked to fix things between them. After a contentious meeting with Leslie, who wants him more involved in their clinic than he planned, Joey pays Bill a visit at his office. He needs protections built into this new partnership with Leslie. Bill is appropriately disdained of his client getting involved with Leslie, not to mention memorializing Doug, but agrees to draw something up. Joey just wants a change made in the contractual language. This might be more fun than I thought, Bill smirks. As for Leslie, Marcel slips into Joey's abandoned seat at Uptown. The two promptly flirt and leave for her hotel room, where Leslie, roaming hands, find his holstered gun. And that's not a pun at this point. But anyways, a hungover Nicole wakes up on her couch to Vanessa, who brings her a doctor-approved pharmaceutical. What does that mean? That is an Americano and scorched toast. A note from Carlton instructs her to take 2 of these and to call when she can. I've never had Americano. I know it's some type of an espresso type of situation, I think. But yeah, like, no. The most I've had is just cappuccino, and I don't even think that is like an energy type situation. Nicole explains that she overserved herself last night while she doesn't have the Brocagine Danny does. Vanessa urges her to do something more constructive with her guilt, like lean in on the nice guy offering to see her through this. As for Vanessa's love life, Nicole agrees to do better when it comes to her disapproval of Joey. Sometimes I'm like this with my friends. Like, I wish you would choose better, but you're not leaving, so I guess. Vanessa suggests that they go on a double date, but Nicole worries that Carlton was turned off by her drunken behavior. Vanessa believes Carlton will understand and get over it. Vanessa is proven right when Nicole runs into Carlton at the hospital. They fall into easy banter before he invites her out for a healthy drink. Nicole accepts, but has a favor to ask him. Go on a double date with Vanessa and Joey Armstrong. A Godsmack, Carlton exclaims, wow, as I am too. When Joey meets Vanessa at the country club, he informs her the clinic will honor Doug. Vanessa is overcome by the gesture and looks forward to telling their kids. It feels like both of them are righting their wrongs and writing off their guilt that they have in regards to this whole Doug situation. While Joey flashes back to Marcel reminding him he's the reason Vanessa's a widow. Vanessa marvels over Leslie allowing the dedication. Believe me, Joey says, I can handle Leslie. But we're thinking that he might have met his match, seeing as Leslie is deftly handling Marcel's firearm in her hotel room and schooling him on all the things he has to learn about her. I'm wondering if Alan died without Leslie's help. I'm just wondering. After an outrageous Pamela lifts Danny's spirit, Danny comes to Bill's office to thank him for not being a first-class jerk lately. It means more than he knows that he showed up for her and the girls. There's nowhere else I'd rather be, Bill says, and she clings to him. I got you, he whispers with his arms around her. That's good news to hear, because Danny never been this scared in her life. And entering Haley isn't as moved as the exes are. However, as loudly clears her throat, would you mind taking your hands off of my husband? Of course. She gonna make a situation about her no matter what, but hey, I don't know. It's just like, I don't care about Haley, but then at the same time, Haley's kind of been through a lot. I don't want to say that I'm being the devil's advocate. Shout out to Shade in the City. But it could kind of be like, do I understand a little bit at how she's handling Danny still being in their life? I can. However, you're just selfish right now, and you wanted to fit so in, and we were so in love, Bill, and then we're just finding out that you were just a skank and a gutter snipe that just basically was using Bill as a mark. Anyways, upon interrupting Bill and Danny's embrace, Haley offers biting words of support to her husband's ex-wife. She is passive aggressive, notes the worry in the air. Why else would you drop in to visit Bill in the middle of a workday? After Danny leaves, Bill lashes out at Haley for twisting the knife about their children's possibility of getting cancer. She apologizes, but Bill doesn't let her off the hook. However, they have a lunch reservation, and he doesn't want to be late. At Orford Jeans, Jessica continues to trash the cotillion and expresses relief over Nicole not returning her messages about it. Tyrell notes that it doesn't seem like her, but points out his grandma has a lot going on. The only way Jessica figures that being a debutante wouldn't suck is if Tyrell were her escort. They could be miserable together. Ugh. Speaking of cotillions, Kat and Samantha check in on Anita and share dress ideas for Samantha, despite Vernon's concern that it's too much for his wife after chemo. Danny drops in and privately talks to her father about how, despite his reservation, she needs to let Bill in on what's going on with her and their daughters. When they join the others, Anita admits her husband was right, and this was a little bit too much for her today. In the office, Ted confides in Eva about Kat refusing to get tested for the BRCA gene and how worried she is about Chelsea. I don't know why Ted told her anything, in my opinion. Ted isn't telling Kat about Eva's grandmother being in the hospital. Peaches. He loved for Eva to reach out to her, but he never asked that of her. However, Eva takes it upon herself to approach her half-sister at Orford Jeans. She's there if she needs someone to talk to. And Kat tells her to stay out of her business and her family. Eva declares that she did this for their father. But when the day comes and Kat does need her, she will throw her words right back in her face, dad or not. Could Eva be frustrated that Kat won't give in? Yeah. I think that this is foreshadowing of something to come in the future where Kat is going to need Eva. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going to happen with this relationship. I don't care if Kat and Eva actually get together. Look, it is what it is. It's up and stuck because of how you decided to infiltrate my family's life. After spotting Ashley and Grayson flirting at the hospital, Naomi is all too happy to fill Shanice in on their date last night. Ashley reports it was different but good. Really, really good. She uses an analogy or a metaphor of ice cream order to describe how good being with someone new was. 3 times good, apparently. Shanice quips about Ashley landing the man everyone in the hospital wants, but warns about getting her butter from the same place she gets her bread. Ashley wonders who's buttering Dr. Richardson's bread. Shanice says, not me. Ashley suggests that she do something about that, which Shanice does when she coyly brings ice cream to Ted's office. Ted appreciates the Afternoon Delight. One of my favorite songs, which I think was done in either the late 60s or 70s, is called Afternoon Delight. The harmonies is on it, but you gotta hear the lyrics on it and why he said Afternoon Delight. It's about a quickie in the afternoon. He ends up feeding Shanice that ice cream, which leads to a passionate kiss. At Uptown, Jacob fills in Derek on Ashley's date. The fireman takes it fairly well, but does ask for details on who is his ex dating. Instead of indulging, Jacob confides in his friend about Naomi getting tested for the BRCA gene. Jacob knew his boundaries and he knew not to cross all of that because he got to deal with negative Nancy Naomi. He feels that he will make her shut down on him again. Derek knows that they can get through anything because they're meant to be. Are they? They could if Naomi would Stop it. What does she need to stop? It. But Jacob doesn't believe in meant to be. That's right. A relationship works based on trust, communication, and daily choices you make. Derek muses that sometimes it's hard to see what works and what doesn't when you're in the middle of it. Maybe that was his mistake with Ashley. And Jacob said no. Lying to her was your mistake. Derek takes that in stride as well, but is clearly affected when he sees Ashley flirting with Grayson at the hospital. Derek starts doing some things, I think in the next episode, that are quite deceptive. Bill remains cool towards Haley as they sit for their country club reservation. When Naomi shows up with Jacob, she thanks Haley for her supportive text, which thaws Bill's icy attitude towards his wife. As Danny leaves her parents' house, she gets a text from Chelsea that the test results are in. Yeah. All right, last day, and we'll be done. Kat comes home venting about Eva, but Chelsea bursts to tell her cousin her own news. She doesn't have the BRCA gene. She calls Naomi to tell her and ask her about her own results. Naomi says there's nothing to worry about, but her expression doesn't exactly inspire confidence. Naomi invites her sister to join her and Jacob for lunch at the club, but then puts Jacob off when he wants to check her results. Naomi rushes to Bill's table to relay the news and tells him that she hasn't received her results yet, even though she just basically lied to Chelsea. When a concerned Jacob presses Naomi, she tells him that she needs to do this on her own time. After Danny gets Chelsea's text, they arrive at the country club, champagne courtesy of Naomi. There's some confusion over Naomi's results, leading Danny to confront her eldest daughter. Did you get your results or not? Naomi admits she didn't and pulls them up. Her face falls as she looks at her screen and takes a deep breath. She turns with a bright smile. All good. As the family celebrates, Jacob makes a toast to Naomi's and Chelsea's health and strength. Naomi sips her champagne and looks off thoughtfully. All right, so Ted and Shanice passionately make out on his couch, off his couch, and start ripping off each other's clothes. His buzzing phone interrupts them, allowing him the opportunity to pull away. He suggests that they go out for a nice date because she's more than just a quickie on the couch. I'm glad you have some type of respectability about this girl. Despite Derek's obvious lurking mere feet away from them, Grayson and Ashley flirt, oblivious to his presence. I just lost my place. Derek follows Grayson into the elevator and tries to get information out of him. And Grayson was like, "Do you know Ashley?" And he says, "Ashley is my friend. We go way back." Derek then meets Jan for coffee, and maybe in a not so innocent way. Derek is trifling. He lets it slip that her daughter is dating someone new. And of course, Jan didn't know that. Jan did fill him in on her going on a cruise and meeting the guy of her life. I wonder if we're going to meet him. Shanice tries to act professional when she rejoins Ashley at the nurse's hub, but Ashley notes her top is inside out. A smirking Ashley digs for information on Ted as the handsome doctor appears. He takes Shanice aside to properly invite her to dinner tomorrow night. They try to hide their flirty smiles as they separate, leading Ashley to gloat about how right she was. Jan marches into the hospital to confront Ashley about her dating someone new, and she worries that she's rushing into something and cautions her to go slow so that she does not get hurt. Ashley tells her mother to take it a notch down, and she's just having some fun. At Orphagene, Ted runs into Andre, who is leaving soon for a photo shoot in New York. He doesn't feel great about leaving Danny right now, but she wants them to live life as usual. When Andre detects that his uncle appears brighter, Ted admits that he has a date with Shanice and raves about the nurse. He knows that it's too early to speculate where it might lead, but he's looking forward to finding out. Eva vents to Isaiah about Kat over lunch at Uptown. She's not just mad at Kat, though, but herself for reaching out at all. Isaiah knows that whoever doesn't reciprocate her love is missing out, namely her sister. He might be the blood. He might not be blood, but he sees her and is there for her. I feel two ways. She may be wanting to get to know Kat, but I think that she wants Kat's approval so bad, and she wants to win points with her dad. That's how I feel about it. I just feel like that there's underlining things about Eva that you just can't really trust with her, even though people trust her like nothing. And Kat says no. And I'm gonna go with Kat for a while, you know. But that's all I have for this week. What did you think about these episodes? Derek is trifling because why are you doing that? You know you've broken up, and now you get to try to dictate to Ashley what's going on, and you're quite manipulative. And I think you need to leave her alone at this point. You know, I don't like Ashley a lot and how she's even handled you, but why are you being this manipulative to this woman? Like, move on with your life. You could have been with that fire guard or whatever, your coworker, and you just choosing to just do this. It's just really tacky and whack. But y'all can let me know how y'all feel about Eva. You think that this is foreshadowing of something happening between Kat and Eva later on down the line? Naomi's gonna ruin her marriage. That's all I can say about that. And Lord, having the gene does not mean that you're gonna get cancer, y'all. Just to help settle some things, even in regards to all this. But pretty good week. I saw the spoilers for next week, and it's just like, but we shall see how the next week flows, as they're now pulling a little bit away from the Duprees and getting into more of the drama, because they've had about a couple weeks of it just kind of being mainly the Duprees with the whole cancer announcement situation and test results and all that. So we shall see. But that's all I do have for you. Let me know. But please be sure to like this video for me. Subscribe. You can share. And until the next one, peace.